kick it off our Lady Boss Hour with a woman who has been a Chicago Public School student, teacher, parent, principal, and now CEO. She oversees a whopping $5.46 billion budget and is the definition, I would say, of a lady boss. Please welcome CPS CEO, Dr. Janice Jackson. Yes. Can we call you Janice or do we call you Dr. Jackson?
You can call me Janice, that's fine.
Yeah.
She's
Janice
so down to earth.
Yeah,
for a lady
I read
boss.
that we graduated high school the same year. Our career paths are a little different. Just want to
He's
say.
managing a $5 and $46 budget.
That's right. Keep working hard, you'll get there.
That's right. Well, reading about you, it's pretty fascinating. Yeah. Just how much impact even Arnie Duncan had on you as a young teacher. How did that kind of change the trajectory when you were in your 20s?
It actually put me on the path towards leadership. Most people don't know that I started my first school. I actually started 2 schools in my career, and that was the only way that a 26-year-old could become a principal in Chicago. As a teacher, I was frustrated by what I thought was a lack of support for our kids, and instead of complaining about it, I decided to do something about it, and I founded a school at the age of 26, and that's how I became a principal in CPS.
Wow.
Did you ever imagine that you would then one day be CEO managing $5.46 billion budget?
I did, and I want to talk a little bit about that because when I got the job, one of my former colleagues called me and he said, a math teacher, he said, when you used to say that you wanted to be the CEO, I thought you were crazy. and I know why, because at the time, you got to think about where CPS was. We had changed the role from superintendent to CEO. People didn't think educators could lead a $5.5 billion budget, but as a teacher, I was committed. I knew that I was teaching my heart out, but I needed to be a principal in order to bring about greater equality for the kids in my building. And every single step was about having a greater impact. And when I wrote my graduate school application, I said, I want to be the CEO of CPS by the time I'm 40. And that happened. And
wow.
at the time, absolutely.
I got chills.
Yeah. Yeah. And at the time, I wrote it just to be bold and get attention so I can get into graduate school. But I really meant it. I didn't know it would happen so soon, but I've been blessed.
Yeah. I hope that you followed up with those people you wrote
I did. They're still supporting me, University of Illinois. They're still
That's amazing. What do you say to young people that are in CPS and want to follow their dreams but maybe are unsure of themselves?
Well, most people, I mean, I wasn't a high school student running around saying I wanted to be a principal of a high school. I don't think any high school student actually says that. But I think what we have to teach kids is that there are so many different careers out there. Sometimes they are only aware of a few. And for a lot of the students, in particular the students that we serve, if they don't see professionals in these careers, they don't know what to aspire to. So when I go out to visit schools, I'm going to check on quality and check in with the educators and keep everybody motivated and pushing them towards our goal. But I'm really there to be a representation. I want the young girls, in particular the young African-American girls in our school, to look up to me and aspire to do this. You can be a boss, you can lead a district, you can do things that people didn't otherwise think were for you. And if I exhibit that and inspire one kid, I think I've done a good job. But luckily in this position, I get to inspire thousands.
Right. I feel like when you turn on the news, that sometimes there's these negative headlines when it comes to CPS. Let's talk about some of the good that's coming out of CPS. And some of the accomplishments that you've made.
Yeah, there has been a lot that has occurred, and I'm happy to say that nationally we've gotten a lot of attention, and locally it's been a little bit slower going, but CPS is a district that every public district in the country is looking to figure out how it's done. Our graduation rate is growing 3 times the rate of the national average. Last year, close to 80% of our kids graduated. When I started as a principal in the early 2000s, that number was less than 50% or around 50%, in particular on the west side where I was working. So to see the remarkable growth, we have more and more kids going to college. Last year, we earned $1.3 billion in scholarships. Our kids are going to some of the best universities across the country, and for a while, no one was talking about it. And so I think my role being so vested in the district and being able to tell that story has given some credibility to the work. And it's not about CPS getting a positive headline. For me, it's about those teachers who are working hard, getting the respect and the acknowledgement for the work that they're doing. And more importantly, our kids. They're getting the respect that they deserve for putting in the hard work.
Yeah, we're out of time, but quickly, when they make the movie, who plays you?
Well, we could go back to the first segment. They do call me the Beyonce of education.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson, for joining us. I love it.